Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul, and for today's video, as you can see before me, we do have the JJJJound Asics Gel Kayano 14, that of which we will be discussing in today's video. Now, just a little bit of pretext to what ultimately led to the shoe's release. We did see an original colorway drop in black and white all the way back in 2022 at a retail price of $180. Surprisingly enough, resale on that shoe wasn't too bad towards the beginning, but over time that price began to appreciate, ultimately ballooning to some pretty crazy figures, ones that I'm sure many didn't quite expect. But after a little bit more observation, it does somewhat make sense, as the Y2K aesthetic has really grown in popularity. Silver hits all throughout the shoe definitely lean into that, and so it would make sense that the rising trend of the Y2K aesthetic would ultimately coincide with higher resale prices around this sneaker model here. And now that is enough yapping for me. Let's go ahead and talk about the sneakers before us. As you can see, they do come in a special Asics box, kind of minimalist in nature. And as it relates to sizing, I did go true to size with a size 9. Generally speaking, I range from an 8.5 to 9. This size 9 does fit great. And now once inside the box, you just have some simple tissue paper. Again, very minimalist with it. And here we have the sneaker. As you can see, I did go with the navy colorway, which I do believe was a JJJJound exclusive. That, at least that's what the word was on the streets. I did see them drop on the Asics website, but I don't know that they were ever available. But speaking of the drop, I did pick these up on the JJJJound website, and honestly, they sold out really quickly, which was really surprising to me, because if I'm honest with you, I did anticipate the hype behind the Gel Kayano 14 kind of dying down a bit, just because we've seen a lot of different renditions of the shoe, and more or less this is kind of the same thing in a slightly different colorway. And of course, you do have the JJJJound hits there. As it pertains to design details, JJJJound doesn't do too much to separate itself from standard GR pairs, but I suppose that's kind of the allure behind their collaborations, leaning more into the subtle details that make the shoe unique. As it pertains to extras, you do have an extra pair of white laces that do come in the shoe, and pre-laced is a pair of cream laces, which I do believe look a little bit better and will stay on this sneaker. Now, I did touch on aesthetic, but the shoe is just so much more than that, as it generally is a type of shoe that you'd want to wear time and time again. It is very comfortable. Part of that is due to the fact that the upper is comprised of a super breathable engineered mesh, providing a lot of flexibility and of course ventilation, meanwhile reducing its overall weight. You've got synthetic overlays that include TPU and synthetic leather all throughout the shoe that serve as a bit of structural support and durability, especially around the midfoot and the heel. The inner lining is a soft textile and enhances the overall comfort and reduces friction over long times of wear. And finally, of course, we have the trademark Asics gel technology, which can be felt at the rear of the foot as well as the forefoot. And this gel is extremely soft, providing cushioning and shock absorption for every step to lessen the impact of wherever life takes you. Working in tandem is the trademark So Light midsole foam, which is very lightweight and responsive, offering even more improved cushioning and durability than your standard traditional EVA foam. Finally, you have the thoracic system, which is the plastic shank plate underneath the arch of the foot that reduces the weight as well as serves as a bit of torsional rigidity for better overall stability. Moving on to the outsole is yet again another trademark technology, otherwise known as Asics High Abrasion Rubber. This technology is placed all throughout critical areas of the outsole, serving as improved durability and grip. With all these features being implemented around the shoe, the goal is really quite simple: to create for you a daily wear type of shoe that'll keep you extremely comfortable even after the longest days and walks. And I'm not gonna lie to you, mission accomplished with regard to the Gel Kayano 14. This generally is a shoe that I opt to go for time and time again say I don't want to give my outfit any thought and I just want to throw something on. These shoes are highly versatile in terms of how they look, but additionally, they are insanely comfortable. I wear them to the gym, to the grocery, shopping. I've worn them to Disneyland. This is genuinely an amazing shoe, one that you can seriously wear every single day, and that's why I do suggest owning at least one pair of this style of sneaker. You genuinely won't regret it. As a matter of fact, I do have my OG pair. Let me go grab them real quick. All right, so here they are, and honestly, these have definitely gotten a lot of wear. As I mentioned, they are a regular shoe for me to go to as they look great and they are very, very comfortable. With that said, even though I unds these about 3 years ago, I personally think they have tons of life left. Of course, they are on the dirty side, which I won't deny, but if you just take a look at the shoe's condition altogether, whether it be the midsole, the outsole, or even the upper, apart from them being dirty, of course, these to me have plenty of life left. Again, I seriously wear these all the time. And if you're wondering the difference between the OG pair as well as the navy pair, it is not just the name, because I know on the website, the navy pair does look very, very similar. And to that, I would say, you are right, but once you get them in hand, you kind of start to see the pops of navy really stand out, especially if you look at them side by side. There's definitely a pretty solid difference. I know a lot of people were complaining that it's just a reissue, like literally a reissue of the same shoe, but having them side by side, you can definitely tell a difference. Of course, you do have the pops of yellow, but with this navy pair, it is not all navy, because as you can see, it is navy through this portion of the shoe, but it actually transitions to black at the toe, which in my opinion looks really good. Now, it should go without saying that I do really, really like the shoe, as indicated by how beat up my OG pair is and how often I actually wear them. So at the markup they're currently going for, that being right around $300, would I suggest them? The answer is a little bit nuanced, but what I would say is that if you're into this whole streetwear stuff and like the hypebeast, kind of what's popular kind of stuff, then I would say go for them, because if you take a look at the resale price of the OGs, they're really high, and if this is something you've always wanted, then I say go for them. With that said, there are so many renditions of the gel Kayano 14 that look absolutely fantastic at or close to retail. So if you just want the aesthetic, if you just want the comfort, then I'd just say go for those. I don't think the JJJJound pair is absolutely mandatory. It'll be more like a if you know type of sneaker, and there really isn't anything wrong with that. But with that being said, what do you guys think about the gel Kayano 14? They have been very, very trendy over the course of the last 2 years at least. And so them dropping 4 years after the OG pair, I was surprised that they garnered this much attention and hype and sold out so dang quickly. My question to you is, do you plan on picking up a pair? Do you like wearing this style of sneaker, like the dad sneaker aesthetic? I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say in the comments below. But with all that being said, that is where I'm gonna be landing today's video. All the B-roll that you did see featuring the clothing, I will have those links provided below for your viewing pleasure if you're interested, as some of the garments actually do come from my clothing brand, LWH Clothing. I've been getting a few DMs asking about when the next drop is, and I assure you we are hard at work. If you guys didn't hear, I did have to move all of my manufacturing, not just to a new country, but a whole new continent. But with that came quality that I sincerely believe is going to blow your mind. So it's all good stuff. That tariff stuff did kind of attempt to shake what we were building, but what the enemy means for bad, God will use for good for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. If you guys aren't familiar, that's a verse from the Bible and one that I hold near and dear, essentially putting the onus on me to stay locked in and find a way to make things happen. And I encourage you with that, if you guys ever find yourself in a tough spot, use this testimony as encouragement to keep pushing, to keep pressing in for what you believe in. And at this point, I'm currently yapping. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go with that, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. It really is such a privilege of mine to get to serve you through making content, and of course, as well as clothing. And I will never take it for granted. Until next upload, I will catch you again. Peace and be blessed.